Oh shit, I'm feeling it. Hey guys, what's up? And today I'm gonna do a review of the first full-length mixtape of my favorite band of the 2010s, Death Grips, with Exmilitary. Very much a meme when it came out because of how noisy and ridiculously aggressive it sounds, but the music actually goes way deeper than that. And also, if you're asking me why am I suddenly doing a Death Grips review, because Year of the Snitch, their new album, is coming out very soon, a couple weeks later, June 22nd, it's like 1.5 weeks later. And second of all, it's the 200th video in my YouTube channel. Wow, how time flies. You know, I have 200 videos right now, but I only have 13 subscribers, so my videos are actually 16 times more than my subscribers, and I'm really ashamed of that, but whatever. I love reviewing movies, music, and TV shows, so I'll do it because I love what I do. So, Death Grips is a Sacramento, California-based trio consisting of Flatlander, aka Andy Moran, math rock drummer Zach Hill, and the absolute madman, Stefan Burnett, aka MC Ride. And that's why we have a heavy mix of electronic, rock, and hip-hop on their music. There are rough guitars on this album, as well as industrial electronic synths, samples, and loops, bassy drums, and MC Ride's extremely aggressive yells and shouts. Despite that, I still feel like the tracks of this album play safe, in the standards of Death Grips, of course. It follows a strict formula of a beat playing in the back while MC Ride just shouts and yells non-stop in the front, but in a good way, of course. And this formula worked out for a majority of the tracks, but however, since No Love Deep Web, they have reinvented their sound and made their sound even more glitchier and experimental and adventurous and wild. And that's why I still don't think Exmilitary is as superior as those after No Love Deep Web. But still, it's a fucking great mixtape. And the lyrical concepts of this mixtape and pretty much all of the rest of Death Grips music are really dark and twisted, somewhat poetic but also whack and wild nonsense. In their latest projects, their lyrics may even feel like a bunch of random words stringed together, but it still forms an image in our heads as we listen to the song, and that's really brilliant in my opinion. The mixtape starts off with Beware, which features some ambitious and bold guitars that feels extremely overwhelming and empowering. It feels like a warm but aggressive sunrise. I know that sounds kind of funny. At the start, you have Charles Manson's sample, saying that he's got all the money in the world and he's the king, and this really feeds into the band's monstrous self-praising and worshipping theme on this track.
I close my eyes and seize it. I clench my fist and bleed it. I light my torch and burn it. I am the beast I worship.
This track also sampled some entrancing noises in the back that sounds like MC Ride's vocals but stretched into an ambient sound. The lyrics are incredibly empowering and self-worshipping. I light my torch and burn it. I am the beast I worship. And occasionally you get this dry, snappy, glitchy break in the middle of the verse, which really spices up the song. It's a really bold and overwhelming album opener, and that's really memorable. And to be fair, I really need this song in my life because I need to learn to appreciate myself a little more, you know? I'm giving this a 10 as a starter. The next track is the iconic and the essential Death Grips track, Guillotine, It Goes.
It goes, 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 guillotine!
We have these minimalistic, simplistic beat where we only hear these bassy pulses and crescendos whenever MC Ride goes, it 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 goes, get in. Yeah. Not that this song is bad, it's just a bit overrated. There are people who would appreciate this as much as other Death Grips tracks that are way more sound rich and saturated. But you know, opinions. But I like the music video that goes along with this track. We see MC ride in a car in the shotgun with seatbelts plugged, and the video looks really broken. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. The third track is another dank meme of a Death Grips track, and that is Spread Eagle Cross the Block. Yeah, that title. What in the fuck? Anyway, there are these laid-back holiday mood slow jam guitars with another super simple drum beat similar to Guillotine, except it has guitars. But yeah, when it comes to humor, they got it too, talking about driving down the street to the beat of a blowjob in the chorus. This song is ultimately about drug addiction and also music addiction. I'm also giving this track an 8. Up next, we have Lord of the Game featuring Mexican Girl, and this track is basically a verbal martial arts match between MC Ride and this Mexican Girl, quote-unquote, with a very chuggy beat in the back that sounds almost tribal.
They tell you must make it.
You think I know?
Get my feeling and get shake it.
It's the love.
They tell you must make it.
You think I know?
Get my feeling and get shake it.
It sounds like the drums are setting up this match. And it sounds really like a match, not just a fighting match, but a martial arts match, because it sounds like both sides are giving space to one another and they're both exchanging words and lyrics. It's such an interesting track, and I'm giving Lord of the Game a 9 out of 10, one of the highlights of this mixtape, to be honest. Fifth track, though, damn. The one and only Takyon, Death Yawn.
666, 5, 4, atomic penetration, rapid fire through your skull. Shot it on when taking it back to the days of trying to lose control. Swerving in a blaze of fire, racing through my bones. Oh shit, I'm feeling it. Takyon!
It's probably the most aggressive and intense Death Grips song yet. It's the golden standards for a good Death Grips track, and it's such a blood-pumping, nerves-awakening banger. We have these super warped bassy beats going in the background continuously while Stefan yells on top of his lungs without skipping a beat or taking a break just to breathe. And the beats are really chuggy and metallic. It sounds like a gun click clacking. The lyrics of this song is about harnessing the energy of a tachyon particle, which is assumed to be faster than light. Wow. And that's why this song hits you like a bitch. It may sound a bit drab and dull as time goes by, since it's not as colorful or as experimental as some of their later work, but still, this is the shit. It's as noisy and as hyped as a Death Grips track can ever get. I'm giving Takyon a 10, and it wouldn't be a surprise if this track ends up as my number 1 favorite Death Grips song. Then it's Cutthroat Instrumental, which is more of an interlude. It's really rough, noisy, muddy, and chaotic. We get these slow and steady beeps going up and down and this nasty "it's death" sample. And after a few disc scratches, we get Klink. Again, following the simple beat and scream formula, the beat is some rough guitars steadily descending on a chromatic scale, while we have MC Ride yelling on the top. But to be honest, it's a really fun and catchy beat. This song talks about the police, and not in a good way, of course. Go ahead and watch those YouTube videos where people get arrested for no reason, then you'll understand why. But, you know, you also can't forget about the good cops, just like the bad cops. But still, Klink is an 8 to a 9 out of 10 for me. Really digging this track. The next track is Culture Shock. We get a David Bowie sample at first, except it sounds like he's falling into the abyss.
Culture shock, fuck yourself, useless information occupies free open space inside your...
This song deals with how everyone's being controlled by technology nowadays, and that's just 2011. Look at now, it's 2018 and everyone's on Instagram and Snapchat, and that's why this song feels so mechanic and industrial. I'm giving Culture Shock a 9. And because of the Bowie sample, maybe that's why Bowie heard of them. Maybe that's why Bowie said one of the influences of Black Star is actually Death Grips. Another interlude on this mixtape would be 5D. clocking at only 43 seconds. This is a hell of a groovy interlude. I just love the noisy, filtered, bass-boosted ascending synths on this track. It's really tasteful and colorful. And then it transitions abruptly into the fun, wild, and festive through the walls. Why can't I just flow through the walls, the walls?
Why can't I just flow through the walls, the walls? Why can't I just flow through the walls, the walls?
I like the speedy, maniacal cycling synths at the beginning. It's very adrenaline pumping, but then it fizzes into this broken machine. It's slightly anticlimactic, to be honest, not gonna lie. But still, overall, I like the energy of this track a lot. I'm giving Through the Walls a 7 to an 8 out of 10. The next track is Known for It, which is another track that has its demo version on the Death Grips EP. We have these descending video game-esque synths, and then we also have these deep, murky bass. And together, plus MC Ride's loudness, makes for some surprisingly good stuffs. I didn't really like this song at first, but it really grew on me. I'm giving this an 8 to a 9 as well. I Want It, I Need It, Death Heated is the next track, also featured its demo version on the EP.
To get all of the above in a limited amount of time, I can do this and it's done. Like that, we're on our way. Be an acid on the turncoat.
This track has some bouncy, springy guitar crisps and uplifting punk guitar line that I really dig. This track also features a very creative sample of Interstellar Overdrive and Astronomy Domine of Pink Floyd from all the way back to 1967, and it really gives a rough feel to this track. And MC Ride feels calmer and slower on this track from DMT to MDMA. I'm giving Death Heated an 8 out of 10. At last, we have the odd but aggressive Blood Creepin as the album ender. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Bounce that shit! Hold on, man, park the car, have no idea where we are. Think we may have gone too far. You see it right behind us.
At first, there is an entrancing and hungover, almost headache-inducing instrumental bit, and then we get some more nasty and loud beats and MC Ride screaming and yelping frantically on top of his lungs. However, I just don't see the appeal of this track that much, and it's a little annoying with the screams. Just a little. But the lyrics are very violent and bloody. Again, it's about drug use and police and crime, but again, there's nothing too special about this track. I'm giving Blood Creepin' a 7 out of 10. A bit of an underwhelming album or mixtape ender, I suppose. Overall, still, it's an incredible, solid starter for a revolutionary experimental hip-hop trio. A great fusion of guitars with a punk rock ethos, the beats are loud and bassy and tense, the sampling is very creative and strange, and the vocals on this thing is menacing and aggressive as fuck. The lyrics on this mixtape is also very bloody and violent, talking about sex, violence, torture, drug abuse, alcohol, and mental illness, and death. But at the same time, it has some strange lines and ridiculous humor to not sound like a death metal album or something along the lines of that. Although this album follows a strict formula of beat and vocals, but this formula worked out well for a bulk of the tracks on the album, and as a result, we get these insane and eye-opening bangers. It may feel a bit drab, a bit repetitive, and maybe a bit too rough at some points. I get it. But this roughness really shaped this mixtape, and by the way, Death Grips will change their musical style constantly in the future. So, the worst is Blood Creepin', and my favorite track, damn, it's Takyon. I'm giving Death Grips Exmilitary an 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to Death Grips Exmilitary? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more. The Money Store review coming soon. Yay and Kids See Ghost reviews coming soon. And Eminem Revival, haven't reviewed that. That shit album also coming soon. And yeah, I just want to thank every single person who have watched my videos and who have helped me made it to 200 videos. And yeah, the show will go on.